Welcome to the Health Hub with Dr. T. I'm Dr. T. Thank you all so much for joining today. We have Miss Jane in the house. She is a registered dietitian. She's going to give us a short introduction about her credentials, and then we'll dive right into it. Because one thing I like is food. So we're definitely going to talk about food today. So go ahead and give us a quick introduction, and then we'll go right into it.
Okay. Well, like you mentioned, I'm a registered dietitian. Uh, but prior, I guess after my registered dietitian, I went back because I like public health as well. So I went and got my doctorate degree in public health because my goal was to actually combine nutrition and public health because I
Oh,
wanted to, more population type deal, which I did for a little while with the health department. But eventually, I decided to, go back to more one-on-one care. There are a lot of
yeah.
bureaucracy in public health, as you can see with what's going on now, funding issues, all of that stuff. So hopefully, I hope to go back to my passion of combining nutrition, public health, because again, we got to help people at the more prevention. That's where I'm from.
Yes.
My side of nutrition, which is what pushed me to get into that graduate doctorate degree in public health, so I can learn how to combine that into helping the bigger population from
Yes.
prevention point of view versus you meeting me at the clinics when the
Hmm.
individual is very sick. In my spare time, I do teach. I teach a lot of undergraduate students too to become medical
Nice.
dietitian. So that's another thing I enjoy. It's my way of giving back. I enjoy doing that. And yeah, currently I do a little bit of that, and then I do my own private practice and some contract work here. So yeah, that's a little bit about kind of what I do as a dietitian.
Awesome. So wait, should I be saying Dr. Jane
I
or not yet?
a lot of my clients just call me Jane
Yeah.
because I like to
Okay.
relate to them at that level.
Yes.
I don't want
Yes.
that disconnect of them looking at me at this level, but just so they can be
They can
comfortable.
kind of
Yeah,
connect with you a little bit more. I get it. I
yeah.
get it. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So we're gonna dive right in because I can even say here who all in this chat either know someone, meaning maybe your parents or yourself, our generation that has blood pressure issues or diabetes. And I can definitely put my hand up because I come from a line that has high blood pressure and diabetes. And last live, I was kind of talking about how when I was pregnant, I had to check my sugar. So then that put me in mind that, ooh, my future, what does that look like? So I really want us to get into foods. What should be in our pantry? What
Hmm.
shouldn't be in our pantry? Foodies like us, what should we do to manage so that, because I still want to enjoy, and I'm sure most people still want to enjoy their food,
Yeah.
but at the same time, what are some key things when it comes to diabetes, blood pressure, those kind of things that we should be more aware of?
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm all about prevention. Everything I do, even within, when I get people at their stage of a lot of issues, right? So,
Mhm.
but there's a point that you made, and I do believe in that. Food is meant to be enjoyed. And one thing I
Yes.
want to put here is that nobody should be scared of eating. Eating is not the
Mhm.
problem, right? The foods we eat is not the problem. As a dietitian, you can ask any dietitian, we don't believe that any food is bad food, right? What I recommend is yes, there's some food that are more nutrient dense than the other. Okay, so you're gonna have more nutritious food, and foods are not so nutritious. And all
Right.
we have to do is create a nice balance of all of it. If we can create a nice balance, and then yeah, we can get to enjoy food and not suck the joy out of eating, which is what I experience all the time. So
Mhm.
to your question about what should we have in our pantry, so two things, and I know it sounds crazy: protein, fiber. Okay,
Mhm.
so you think about protein, you think about fiber, and I'm not coming protein from the social media point of view. I
Okay.
get tons of question about protein, and people are eating way more than they should be eating. And when
Yes.
yeah, when I give recommendation, I also look at different disease state because my kidney patients shouldn't be consuming too much protein. That's where
Mm.
about their kidneys and stuff. My weight management people, just overall, we don't need to be consuming way too much protein than we need to. But social media makes it
Pushes
seem
that.
like Yes. So, but we do need protein. We do need fiber. Okay.
Okay.
And how do we get that protein? Uh, it's very obvious. A lot of people know that. You know, your meats, your poultry, fish, all of those good stuff, right? Your fiber. Well, fiber, our veggies, our
Yeah.
fruits, and then carbs. Now, a lot of people get scared of carbs. That's another thing. I'm not going to go too much in depth because I know we're in time constraint. But one thing I have to put here is don't be scared of eating your carbs. They're not your enemy at
Mm.
all. Two things are your enemy: the way we eat it. Okay, so I'm
Mm.
assuming a lot of the audience here are probably of Nigerian heritage and maybe other cultures, right? But
Correct.
one thing that's common in any culture you go around in the world is carbs. And how do
Yes.
we eat the carbs? In large quantities. So somebody's eating fufu, they put like three or four as if they're going to war, right? So they have all of that. That's the
Right.
problem. Okay, that's
Right.
the problem. We're eating rice, we're eating pasta, we're eating bread. Someone is eating a loaf of bread. Or how about this? Somebody's eating pop, and
Is that bad for you?
not necessarily. Corn is actually high fiber. Corn
Oh,
has fiber in it.
I was gonna
But
ask.
yeah, but you're having pap. Most people have that, and they're having fried plantain on the side or fried, yeah. Now that's problematic, right?
Right.
Because it's carb on carb. So we don't want all of
Mm.
that, right? So we do want a good balance. So the
Okay.
carb is not the problem. We just overeat them, and sometimes we choose the wrong choices, which is very processed carbs. And I'll give you an example. Puff puff is not the best carb, okay? Croissant is not the best carb. Bagel, donuts are not the best carb.
You're
Can
saying
we?
all the things that I love. Like, what is the best card if these things aren't the best card? Because these are, and we'll talk a little bit about this later on, right? These things are readily available
Yes.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm on the go, I'm a mom, I'm a daughter, I'm a wife, I'm a business owner, I want to be able to grab and go.
Yes.
I'm not necessarily looking at, I don't need to be at the store for 10 minutes to figure out what to buy. I can just grab the croissant that I see, buy this, and go.
Yes, yes, absolutely. You're right. And that's the pitfall. A lot of people were all on the go. Everybody's busy nowadays. We're
Yes.
working moms, we're parents, dads, moms, and business owners, all of that stuff. So yes, you're right. It's quick grab and go. But uh there are some really easy also grab and go whole carbs you can choose, like oatmeal. You can
Mm,
make a quick 1 minute oat on the stove top really quickly, very high fiber. It's got a little bit of protein, not the best in terms of comparing it with meat, but does have some protein, but definitely high fiber, very satiating. We can do something like a whole wheat bread. So when you're getting your
mhm.
agege bread and stuff, get the whole wheat one instead of the,
So
the white bread
are
one.
those really so I look at that, right? I look
Hmm.
at okay, should we just like they say brown rice, white rice. I'm looking at it. Does that really matter or should it really just be portion control?
Both matters. Portion
Okay.
control matters and the type matters as well. So we
Okay.
still don't want to, we want to as much as possible choose from whole grain. So the dietary guidelines is telling us, kind of 50-50, which they're bringing the new updates. So every 10 years, a lot of research goes into dietary guidelines. So we're getting the new updates guidelines. But what we want is for you to create a good balance. So go
Okay.
for your whole local rice, the brown rice. I know we want the fancy rice, but the local brown rice has more nutrition. Same thing
Mm,
with the tubers, sweet potatoes, plantains, yams. They actually
yes.
have starch in
Yes.
them. They have high fiber in it. Your beans. Beans is a good carb
So
to also
I
incorporate.
want to talk about beans because
Okay.
someone talked about that last week when we couldn't get on and said,
Okay.
why did we grow up thinking beans was protein?
Yeah.
Because I just learned when I really started diving into PT and trying to help build muscle, and I was like, no, beans is mostly carbs.
Yeah, yeah. There's a misconception. Now, let me set the record straight. Some beans actually do have a good amount of protein in it, right?
Okay.
But I like to call it a good balance of both. It does have carbs, but it also has a good source of fiber and it's
Okay.
very good in protein. So I'll give you an example, like black eyed peas, which we, enjoy, most
Yes.
cultures enjoy. About a cup can give you close to 10 grams of protein. So that's not bad in
That's
beans.
not bad.
Yes. So that's why people think, and a lot of
Okay.
your vegetarians, they lean towards that for their
Yes.
protein source. So it's not
Yes.
bad if you plan it well. Like lentils, a lot of the Mediterranean cooking incorporates a lot of lentils. A cup
Yes.
of lentils gives you up to 17 grams of carbs. I'm sorry, protein. Uh,
Mm.
Peas and green beans gives you peas. So when you see all those meat alternatives they sell in the market, they actually made out of
Yes.
pea proteins. So peas has a lot of protein. So a cup of peas can give you, yeah, about 15 to 18 grams of protein. So they're not
Okay.
entirely wrong for thinking beans is a good source of protein. It does. But yes, it does have carbs. So it's one of those things where if you have it on your plate, I wouldn't recommend having a buckload of another carb on the side because the
Okay.
beans can also serve as a carb on your plate. But it is a much healthier carbs than maybe going for rice or potatoes,
Okay.
especially like white
Okay, so we
potatoes.
can eat some beans, but
Oh,
in my
absolutely.
culture, and I think in other cultures too, it's like you said, it's how we also prepare our food, right?
Yes,
Like
yes,
in Nigerian culture, we use the beans plus all the oils and all the
yes,
extra stuff, right? That
yes,
makes it sweet. But if you, like you said, if we eat it almost like the Mediterranean way, it's a bit more healthier because there's less other stuff in it, and you really tend to taste the lentils.
yes,
Okay, so
yes.
let's talk a little bit about diabetes.
Mm-hmm,
For example, I am not a big fan of basmati rice.
mm-hmm,
I mean, I am now. It took a while for me to get there. It took me a long while. My mom actually, I know she's on here. Hi, mom. She actually feels like when she switched her rice
mm-hmm.
from the typical white rice, the parboiled rice, to
Yeah.
basmati rice, she felt like that really helped control her sugar. So
Mm-hmm,
I was
mm-hmm.
like, is she making this up? Like, is she trying to get me to eat basmati? But then I almost felt like, I haven't checked my sugar, but I almost felt like maybe she has a point to this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
So, some rice and stuff can be more starchy than the other, right? Or more simple. It's like potatoes.
Right.
Yeah. Uh, when you compare your regular Irish potatoes and sweet potatoes is what we call like a low glycemic index food, meaning it's not going to raise your blood sugar levels up as quickly as white potatoes. That's kind of what it is. So basmati rice generally have fewer, starch than regular white rice. Yes. So with that, it's not going to spike your sugar levels up for someone that's got diabetes or managing their
Okay.
blood sugar in a kind of insulin resistance and stuff. Yeah. So that's the whole idea. Is
Mm,
this still rice? Do we still need to monitor or watch the portion? Absolutely, because
yes.
we eat too much of it. The portion size can eventually add up. It's like fruit. I always tell everyone you
Right.
can eat fruit, even diabetics, you can eat fruit, but keep
Mm,
in mind it still has sugar. So quantity makes a difference. If you're eating 3 bananas in one sitting, oh yeah, your sugar levels will
your sugar
spike.
is going to spike up.
Yeah.
One thing I realized is everything has sugar.
Yes.
The only thing that I think doesn't have sugar is water. And I'm even like, are you sure water doesn't? But really, because when you think about it, when the food breaks down, it ends up being sugar, no matter how
Absolutely.
healthy it is. So you are right in what you consume because if you keep consuming sugar, your sugar is going to rise. So that
Absolutely.
yeah, I want to talk. You said something that I want to pick on. I'm probably not going to say this word right, so help me. You talked about low glycemic
hmm
foods. So
hmm
how would we know what type of foods are low glycemic? Because I'm more interested in that. How would you know which foods are low glycemic?
So generally, the more fiber in the food, the higher
Okay.
the it's going to be considered a low glycemic index, because the idea is your body typically doesn't break down and absorb fiber. It kind of just passes through us, okay? And
Hmm.
because it passes through us, it doesn't affect your blood sugar levels. So those higher fiber food are considered to be low glycemic index, and then the simpler ones are going to be high. But there is a chart, so I can
Yes.
give you, we can do a simple Google search, and get it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can, send you one. But yeah, a lot of they've developed a nice chart to make it easy. So, like I give the example of potatoes. Sweet potatoes is considered a high glycemic index. So if you eat that, your blood sugar level is probably
It's
gonna
gonna run.
skyrocket. Yeah, but if you compare it to
Mm.
sweet potato will slowly rise. Okay,
Okay.
it's not gonna be a quick shooter, but it will rise, but not that high. Same thing with bread. If you were doing like a white bread versus a whole grain bread, same thing. You're going to see that blood sugar levels will quickly rise with like a processed bread, and like your whole grain, maybe whole oat bread or whole wheat bread, you're going to see it gently go up. It's not going to be a
A
huge
spike.
spike. Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting. I think again, we as we're getting younger, I don't like to say older, as we're
Yes.
getting
We age
younger, or
like
as
fine wine.
look, we have to. And even watching my parents eat now, my dad is he's very in tune with his sugar. Very so much that I think he's too in tune because his sugar is always super low, but then you're like, oh, I can drink tea to raise it up. But he's I know he has I forget what it's called, where he can check it on his arm.
Okay, yeah, the GCM, the continuous glucose monitor. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Which, by the way, side note on that, I'm a huge, huge proponent of monitoring. So if you
Good.
have blood pressure, don't tell me you don't know what your blood pressure is. It's a pet
Mhm.
peeve of mine. Check it. You
Yeah.
have blood pressure, you gotta check it. You have blood sugar issue, don't be naive about it. Check your blood sugar
Hmm.
levels. Insurance covers all of that. They cover your glucometer, they cover your blood pressure cuff. So have your doctor write you a prescription, pick it up and check yourself. You will learn so much about your body.
Go back to that.
Hmm.
Insurance covers blood pressure cuffs and everything.
Absolutely, yeah. I
Oh
just have a
wow.
client of mine. She didn't know. She went to her endocrinologist, wrote prescription. She has a glucometer now. The one she can put her phone and it reads. Yeah. So a lot of people don't know, but if you're diagnosed diabetic or have blood pressure, a lot of times insurance covers all of that for you. Yeah.
Okay. I
Or
mean,
at least
that's quite
get a discount.
interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting because and I think some people don't want to know their levels because they probably don't know how to manage it.
Yes.
So I think having that support from the insurance, knowing that, which I personally think everyone should have a blood pressure. I'm a PT.
Yes.
Everyone should have a blood pressure cuff in their house. Like everyone
Yes.
should know their sugar.
Yes.
I was on a flight back a couple of weeks ago, and a person became unresponsive,
Mm.
and they were just kind of shaking them, and my husband was like kind of panicking. He's like, oh, what's going on, what's going on? I was like, probably has low blood sugar. That's
Yes.
what it ended up being. They had
Hmm.
low blood sugar. So it's like, were they monitoring themselves, or were they just thinking, oh, I ate around 10, I should be good to 4,
Hmm.
instead of actually checking their sugar, checking their
Hmm.
pressure throughout the day.
Hmm.
I want to jump into some questions
Okay.
and kind of what the audience is saying. Please, please, please drop in questions so that we can kind of talk about it. Bread pudding. Somebody talked about bread pudding. Prince Kato can eat a whole loaf of bread pudding. So, sir, henceforth, you would not be doing that. I know
Portion
you will
control.
proudly, but no more. No more, do better. So
Yes.
someone said, I'm not a big fan of basmati rice either. I know, I feel like I'm eating air, but I also don't feel weighed down after.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see it.
And it's okay. Like if you enjoy any rice, to be honest, enjoy it. You can do white rice, you can do Uncle Ben's rice, basmati, brown rice. Nowadays, we have those quinoa, couscous for those that are more
Yeah.
in, explorative and want to
Yeah.
try those. Those are very high protein, high fiber options to choose in place of rice. Don't think you can never have rice. You can. You just want to do a little bit. So think
Ooh,
about when you go to those Asian restaurants and stuff. What do they serve you rice in? That itty bitty
that
bowl,
is
right? And we're like, no, give me a second. No, meal, there's a,
That's
there's a,
enough.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's enough. So if we can keep to a small portion size,
Yeah.
control that, then yeah, you can still have regular rice.
Oh, I'm team rice. So there's nothing anyone can take rice away from me. All right. So Ninja Lebanese said, is alcohol consumption part of dietary content? We eat all these fufu with tequila. What's a good balance to this? Talk about balance.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's a good point. Very great question. Alcohol, yes, it does have calories. Now, the big part of alcohol is it doesn't have nutrition. It doesn't add anything to your body, really. Okay.
Right.
Yes, we have some data and science here about red wines, and because of the grapes they're
Right.
specifically used to make it and the phytonutrients in it. But overall, alcohol is empty calories. So it's something where I say be mindful about your alcohol intake, right? Am I against drinking? Absolutely not. Even though the Surgeon General came out last year and said any alcohol is bad, I'm not against it. I
Right.
say proceed with moderation. So the previous guideline is that before they tell us don't drink, is men can have up to 2 drinks, okay, per day. Women just 1 drink. So if you go over that, it's actually considered binge drinking. So
Oh wow. More
yeah,
than two
so
drinks
yes,
for
for
men
men and
and
women
one.
one. Yes. So that's
Then the
yeah.
glass is gonna be
So if it's beer, like a 12-ounce can of beer, if it's like a liquor, like a shot, like the shot glass, which is about
right.
2, 3 ounces, and if it's like wine, I believe about that 8 ounce, 6 ounce glass of wine, that's
Oh
it.
wow.
And yeah, but if you're doing cocktails, it adds even more calories to it. So
Right.
just be mindful. My recommendation, and I've always told that to my renal patient, my diabetic patient, which for diabetics, I usually really ask them to proceed with caution because it does affect their blood sugar levels. So what I usually say is, if you're gonna drink, just drink it straight. Drink a neat drink. We don't need all the cocktails, all of that. It's unnecessary calories,
Right.
unnecessary, you know, things to add to. You're already eating, and most times when we eat, we're eating bar food. When we're drinking, we're eating
Eating
bar food,
more.
like a
Yes.
finger food that's very high in calories.
Hmm.
So yeah, anything we can do to decrease the amount of calories coming from that.
I was gonna say that. I was going to say to that question is that when you drink, you want to eat more. No one really just drinks. You want to munch on something, and I don't know if that's part of the alcohol to make you eat more, then you drink more
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, okay, if
Mm-hmm.
I'm eating this much, then I need to kind of wash it down with something.
Mm-hmm.
So it then becomes this cycle within your body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's
Yeah.
switch gears a little bit. So let's kind of talk about weight.
Okay.
Everybody wants to lose weight. I want to lose. I want to lose weight, but I see food, I eat food. So, but I what are your general tips for people that want to lose weight? You do have people that do intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is
Yes.
one of the biggest thing that has come out in the last few years, where people are going an X amount of hours of not eating. I've
Mm-hmm.
tried that. People are also doing day fasting.
Mm-hmm.
I know someone who works out really much, works out a lot, and I think he went 48 hours without eating anything and just felt like that was really his way of losing weight. But then when he was done, it almost seemed like he gained everything back. So what are some of your tips for like weight loss? We'll come
Mm-hmm.
back to you, Niger Lebanese. I see your question.
So my tips on weight loss is one, scientifically proven. Fat diet doesn't work. The same way you lose it is the same way you're gonna
Oh,
gain it. So all those keto and all of that stuff, it's not sustainable, right? That's You're just doing a temporary fix. It's not
yeah.
sustainable. You always want to ask yourself, do I see myself never eating carbs ever again in my life? And if you know you can, then don't even begin. Because the one time you go back to eating carbs, you're going to overdo it and that weight comes right back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or do you see yourself doing a carnivore diet where they're eating just meat day in and day out?
Wow.
Is that going to be sustainable? So things like that. And that's what we're finding out is that since they're not practical things that is part of our day to day, they don't last. So what I recommend, the first thing I tell everyone is one, just realize that all of us are not going to be the same weight. Some of us
Yes.
are meant to be big, period. That's all it is. Just enjoy it and embrace where you are. Some of
Right.
us are meant to be small. Some of us meant to be medium size. So we want to start it at, for one, just enjoying and appreciating and being happy with our size.
Yeah.
So in nutrition now, one concept that we kind of like to also apply in weight management counseling is what we call healthy at all size. So health comes first. If you're
Mm.
healthy, then the weight is relative, right? So we want to make sure that you're free of disease, your mental state is on intact, you have a social life, right? You're not dying away by yourself in
Mm.
anxiety and depression. That's not healthy. So
Right.
we think about health, sometimes we think about physical and all that, but it's that as well. Do you have a good outlet, social support, things of that nature? So if all that is intact, your weight typically follows. And
Close.
that, yeah, and that means, with that being said, I'm huge on encouraging healthy lifestyle
Yes.
habits. That means your nutrition and exercise. Exercise for me is a non-negotiable. I tell everyone, pen it down. The same way you prioritize going out, having fun,
Yeah.
work, everything else in your life, workout should be part of that. Even if it's a couple of days a week, it goes a long, long way with balancing out your calories. So, because weight loss is really just what goes in must come out
What
and the
comes out?
deficit,
Yeah.
yes. But if it's not coming out because you're not doing anything, how are you going to lose weight? You can't be a couch potato and lose weight. So
True.
exercise has to be there and it has to be consistent. Okay. On the nutrition side, there is no need to do extreme stuff. Okay. So
Mm.
we don't need to starve ourselves. We don't need to cut out anything. We need to follow a nice balance of nutrition. So identify what works for you. So that's where working with the dietitian
Works.
or your healthcare provider works, because they can help you determine what's a good calorie goal for you, what's a good protein goal, all your macros and stuff, and then okay, this is what my body needs, and this is what my body needs. With the fact that I'm a male or female,
Right.
pregnancy, your activity level, because we factor all of that into determining what your calorie needs will be. And then hopefully with that, you'll be able to achieve, if weight loss is your goal, hopefully you can achieve that. And if it's maintenance, you can also maintain. But bottom line is no extremes.
Right.
Yes. Just do things that you know you can sustain, okay? And then just follow a nutrition balance. So one of that balance really quickly is, again, most of us don't eat more of the high calorie foods. So we want to go away from that and choose more balanced food. So those balanced food, load up on your veggies. I gave an example of that rice. So instead of doing a plate of rice, do a small portion of rice, but put a lot of veggies on that plate. Put some good protein on that plate, because protein
Right.
gets you full and help you stay full.
Quickly.
Your fiber gets you satiated as well. So we want those rich fiber food and the protein, and less of all those easy quick food. So your carbs are fast digested, so your body can break that down easily. So that's why you eat, you get hungry again when you load
You
up on
do.
carbs. So
Yes.
but we want to feel fiber, protein, and then that can keep you full, and then add your carbs in small moderation. Typically that can help you save on a lot of unwanted calories, and even hopefully curb some of those excess snacking that we do experience every now and then. Okay. Yeah.
That's pretty, that's a lot. Thank you for
Hmm.
that. That's a lot because, obviously I believe in exercise. I'm I'm poor at it now, even though I preach it. I'm work I'm a work in progress, but at the same time, you're right, because it's if you're not moving and you're putting all these poor things in your body, you're going to be stuck. You're not going to move anywhere, that you can't say, oh, I don't know what's going on with my weight.
Hmm.
So again, I do appreciate what you said about intermittent fasting and not being extreme, because we do get extreme. Like, I
Hmm.
get extreme if I'm trying to fit into a dress. Like, I never return clothes. I gain weight to fit into the dress, or I lose weight to fit into the dress, but I'm not going to return it, right? But
Yeah.
at the same time, it allows me to kind of see, what can I eat. Stop eating at 8 o'clock. It's tough because that late night food kind of creeps in,
Hmm.
and or that craving, excuse me, kind of kind of kicks in. And I remember a friend of mine was telling me, like, go drink water. Like I was texting her and I was like, "Oh, I'm so hungry," and she's like, "Well, drink water. If you drink enough water, you'll be fine." And so, and that
Hmm.
helps because then I'm thinking about my goal. I'm
Yeah.
thinking about how to maintain.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And she's got a point to that because a lot of times we don't hydrate very well. And when we don't hydrate very well, we can always confuse thirst for hunger,
Yeah.
where, I mean, we're hungry but it's not hunger, you're just thirsty. So especially if it's
Right.
like an hour or so once you just ate, you want to make sure you're properly hydrating yourself. Hmm.
Okay. So
Yeah. Hmm.
hydration, because I want to talk about hydration and blood pressure. I see it in my practice a lot. A lot of
Hmm.
our parents are dehydrated.
Hmm.
um they don't one some could be because they don't want to get up and use the restroom, right?
Yes,
And so
yes.
they feel like, okay, if I'm getting up using the restroom, I'm going to fall.
Hmm.
Or it's like, "Ugh, I just went because maybe they have kidney issues, whatever the case may be." But one point I want to bring on here is hydration. Is
Hmm.
that can lead to so many other diseases, so many, like
Hmm.
even blood
Hmm.
pressure issues.
Yes.
That's also part of your intake. I know we have
Hmm.
some doctors in the house in here that can definitely speak on hydration, but I don't know, and I know we definitely did prep, but what are some? How much water should we be drinking in a day? Someone said double your weight and something like
Hmm.
that, and that's how you get how many um, ounces or gallons of water you should have. Is that accurate?
So the way we calculate is usually about 30 cc's or 30 mLs to 1 kilogram of your body weight. Okay.
Okay.
That's how you estimate that because too much water is also bad. So, like you said, a lot of doctors on here, they can testify to that. We don't want to overlog the body with water, especially if, again, those with CHF, renal issues, all of that stuff, they have to be on fluid restriction, right? So they need to be careful. So that's why I tell people you can see it on the internet, but you have to also know your disease state or your condition before you start drinking too much water. But yeah, 30 cc's to 1 kilogram of your body weight. Okay. Another
I'm
simple
gonna
way.
chat GPT that. I'm like,
Okay.
chat GPT, how much?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah. But that's how we do. So it's person by person, okay?
Mhm.
Person by person, we want to see what your weight, because remember, a good chunk of your body is fluid, so we want to make sure we're
Yes.
supporting that. But overall, the other general things you're gonna hear is at least aim for minimum 64 ounces of water daily.
Mhm.
Okay, that's a general recommendation you would hear. Another general stuff I usually recommend is look at your pee color. If your pee color is deep
Yes.
orange, you're definitely dehydrated. You need to drink something. So we need that light yellow-ish
Yeah.
color. Yeah, then that can tell you, you know what, I'm hydrated. And then now that it's summer, I do recommend every now and then, especially if you're out doing a lot, uh, um,
Hydrating.
electrolytes here and there.
Yes,
Yes. Hmm.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I also do for my patients, I do like the
Yes.
Tugger
Yes.
test. I'm like, let me see what's going on
Yes.
here. Okay.
Absolutely.
I want to
Absolutely.
talk a little bit, or I want to tap into like pediatrics a little bit, like our
Okay.
kiddos.
Mm-hmm.
I have a skinny, petite, lean kiddo, and I give her whatever because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you're young. Your
Mm-hmm.
body should be able to take it. I
Mm-hmm.
don't really do any diet
Mm-hmm.
restrictions or anything unusual.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of keep it like, okay, if you want a little bit of candy, you can have a little bit of candy. If you want, I don't know, a donut, you can have a donut. But are there, except for any that have medical conditions, right? Anyone that has medical conditions, that's a whole different ball game. Talk to your doctor about it, and then they can kind of um, address it accordingly. But
Mm-hmm.
for kids that don't have a medical condition, are there specific things that we want our kids to be eating? Should we really look at that chart where we have the fruits and the proteins, and do they really need all of that, or as they're growing, it's okay?
Yeah. No, yes, they do need that. Okay. So I don't specialize in a lot of pediatrics, but um, as in general, yes, we need to start them young.
Yeah.
because environment plays a huge role in kids. A
Mm.
lot of the people I end up seeing for weight management or even for chronic conditions, a lot of times it's rooted to how they were raised. So they were
Mm.
raised in a certain way where it was a lot of high caloric food, not a lot of veggies or proteins and, unprocessed food. And they grow up that way, unfortunately, and it affects them. Okay, as they get older. So we want to start introducing like the whole idea. It's not just for us. So
Right.
when I speak to a lot of my moms and parents, I tell them the one thing I don't do is cook two different meals. Whatever we cook, that's whatever you feed
Hmm.
them. Because you want them to learn. They watch, they soak up, they learn. So they see
Right.
you eat that. They may refuse it, but from child nutrition side of point of view, the idea is you got to introduce the food to the kids over and over, sometimes up to 12 times before they will
Oh,
like
wow.
it. Yeah, so the first time they're like, ugh, this,
Yeah.
mm-mm. So introduce them at different times. Now, when they're cranky, you can force them to eat something when they're
Right.
cranky.
Right.
They
Right.
have to
Right.
be in a happy mode, and then you can say, okay, here. Or change up the way you cook it. Maybe they don't like it bland. Kids have their own palate. So sometimes
Yes.
we feel like, oh, they want bland food. No, they have very intricate palate like we do. So the
Right.
same way you cook very nutritious, like, you know, delicious meals, that's
Right.
what they want too. So sometimes it's about it's got to taste good for them to enjoy it. Okay, so bottom line is the way you eat, you want to start introducing that so they start learning about healthy eating. My kids, they they even know about calories. They'll be like, "Mom, how many calories is this?" I'm like, "Don't worry about the calories. Just worry about,
Just eat.
is it nutritionally sound or not. You don't need to worry
Right.
about calories now." But I do appreciate that because when they go to school, they come back and they tell me the choices they made. Like, hey, they
Hmm.
served this today, and I know you mentioned that you always talk about processed food. I didn't eat it because it's a processed food, and
Right.
and I'm hoping that they get to learn that. But on the other side, to your point, I don't force my kids to eat anything, right? So we never want to force kids. If they don't
Right.
want leave them alone, that's okay. We can find alternative, right? Like I said, it takes a while for them to get used to it.
Right.
If it's becoming a thing of a crying thing, leave it alone. Because
Yeah.
again, on the flip side, they do tend to build unhealthy relationship with
With
food
food.
when we start forcing things. Oh, you have to eat this. You can't get out until you finish your food. Neither do we want to bribe them with food. Never tell them, you finish this, I'll give you ice cream. Also, a lot of unhealthy behaviors. Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. A lot
I'm
of,
like,
we
if
all
you
do
eat
it.
this, you get a popsicle tonight.
Yes, we all do it because we don't want, especially after a long day of work, you don't want headaches.
What?
So
I don't
it's
want to
like,
argue. So I'm
yes.
like, eat this, you get a popsicle. Balance.
Yeah, yeah, but it's not the best behavior training either because
Yeah.
they do grow up and sometimes you see kids that end up with eating disorders or
Mhm.
they have emotional attachment to food. So they start have building that to where as adults, if they have a bad day, well, let me eat a popsicle. If things are not going my way, let me find
Mm.
that comfort in food because
They're
that's
now
kind of
associated
yes,
with comfort, or they're
yes,
associated with, if this happened, this is the way now I can make myself
exactly.
feel better. It's,
Yes,
oh,
yes.
I'm working on it. Help me.
We all are. Yeah.
I'm
So, but
working on
yeah,
it.
find other ways to encourage them. Like, hey, if you eat this, maybe tomorrow we can, try something else that you like. Maybe you get
Mm.
to pick what we're eating for dinner, okay? Or maybe if you eat this, I can give you extra playtime outside to ride your bicycle, things of that nature. Attach it to
More
self-love.
healthy, positive reinforcements, not
Exactly.
necessarily feeding it for eating
Yes.
disorder. Oh.
Yes.
So I think,
Exactly.
and that I appreciate you for saying that, because you're right. I'm going to do whatever it takes to just kind of get you to do what I want you to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I want you to do it healthy, because I'm watching these 1,000 pound sisters or 1,000 pound people. And you're right, it does stems from childhood and what they eat and their intake, and then they don't know when to stop. So
Mm-hmm.
that's, I really do appreciate you speaking on that. I have a question for the audience.
Okay.
And even for you, but I want us to I want to hear what people have to say. Are you willing to invest in your foods as you would in other things? So, for example, like, I love a nice wig, I
Okay.
love nice shoes. I can
Okay.
fast for some nice shoes. If my
Yeah.
husband's like, look, we don't do groceries, but you get some nice shoes, that's fine. We need to fast and pray anyway. Are you willing to invest in what you put in your body as much as what you put on your body. It's, because you go to these stores. I went grocery shopping the other day, and I promise you, I bought maybe like 10 things, and I was like $150.
Yes,
And I
easy.
can guarantee you half of it was not organic. So
Yes,
I'm almost like, it's an investment
yes.
to in what you put into your body. It's an investment to go to the Whole Foods and go to the Sprouts and go to these stores. Even though I'm team HEB, nobody can take HEB from me. Me and HEB go,
That's that too.
you know, but like, am I willing to do that? So I see, well, I want to go back to Niger Lebanese. I hope
Yes,
he's
yes,
still in there. He
yes.
said, serious question, is drinking 2 drink a day equivalent to 14 only once a week?
No,
Oh,
no. So we just with anything, we don't want to overdo it. Think
right.
about your liver. So your liver is what processes that alcohol. So imagine dousing yourself with 14 drinks in one day. What do you think your liver is going through? A lot of processing. So
Yes.
over time, we're thinking about some liver issues, right? We
Yeah.
don't want that, right?
No.
Not something good. Another way, let me explain it this way too. So, for example, when it comes to regular food, your body wants food in segments or in different. That's why we eat. You get hungry every so often. But if you were
Mm,
to eat a pot of food in one sitting, you're not going to be able to get up. You're going to
yeah.
feel sick and just overall nauseated. Same thing with alcohol. So sorry to break that to you. No, I don't want you drinking 14 drinks in one day. That's
No.
way too much for one
Yeah.
day. Not healthy at all for your internal
No.
organs. That's processing and breaking down all those alcohol. So I'd
It's
rather
an
you drink two
overdrive.
drinks every day,
Yes.
than try to drink it in one day. No, please.
Don't make up for it.
Yes.
Okay, so Jumi AK said, I am willing to invest in some good food, but need help with meal planning first.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
takes a long time.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
discouraging. I'm sorry. I got to go to the store. I got to come. I got to prep it. By
yeah.
the time I'm done cooking, I'm like, I'm not, I don't even want it anymore.
Yeah, yeah. So with that, yes, we all should be investing. So this is the knowledge I always give my clients on that. Uh, all of us here live in maybe homes, we have apartments, we have cars, we have clothes, right? Uh, I know everyone here before they got their car, home, apartment, clothes. What did you do? You checked it
Mm,
out. You made sure it was worth your money because you're
yes.
not going to move into a house you're not going to enjoy. You're not buying a mattress you're not going to enjoy sleeping on, right? You did research, you made sure to buy the best of the best because you want to enjoy it, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's the way our food should be. We should not be compromising on what goes into our body. One, that's your machine. So
Right.
you want to oil that machine very well for yourself. So every day you wake up, you are your top speed, your top performance. And if you're not doing that, then you're failing your own body. Now, does that mean we have to buy organic? Absolutely not. Actually, research
Mm,
has shown that organic is not more nutritious than conventional. The only thing is just pesticides, right? So
okay.
yes, the conventional farming, they use fertilizers to grow it, whereas organic, they don't. So they may
Okay.
use more manure and things like that. Okay, so they have their pros and cons. Let me put it that way, but it doesn't mean more nutritious. So if you want to save money, you don't need to go to Whole Foods
Mm,
and buy 5 apples for $20, right? You can go to
girl.
HEB, and I'm also team HEB, so I'm always there.
Yes.
So you could go to HEB, buy your conventional stuff, scrub those fruits very good, nice and
Mm,
wash it really good. You get a lot of the pesticides or whatever off, and those that need to be peeled, peel them. You get a lot of. Most times it's just on the skin,
right.
surface area. Wash your veggies very well. You should be fine. Just a
Okay.
regular scrubbing. You don't even need any fancy vegetable wash and all of that. Good old water is enough.
I
Okay.
feel like that adds more to it.
It does. It
That
does.
add
Because
more to it.
the skin of your most of your fruits are porous. So the
It's
chemicals
going
on that thing,
inside it.
yes. So good old water is enough to just wash it and you can eat your fruits. Nothing is
Yeah.
gonna happen to you. You're fine. So yeah, you can save costs by just buying conventional. In terms of meal planning, we make it complicated. I say food doesn't have to be very difficult to make, right?
Mhm.
Except for Nigerian food. But typically food doesn't have to be difficult to make, right? A lot of things make them in batches. Okay, so if
Mm,
you're going instead of trying to cook every day, if you're gonna make some chicken or fish, try to make a few
A
different
good amount of
amounts.
pieces,
Yeah.
right?
With that, during the week, you can use it anyhow. So you can throw some on a salad. You can
Right.
make like a Chipotle bowl. Instead of spending all that money at Chipotle, you make your own quick
Yes.
Chipotle bowl because you have chicken. Dump
Right.
it in there. Use your rice cooker to make a quick rice. Put it in there. Throw in some other veggies and stuff. You have a quick meal. Frozen. I get this question all the time. Frozen food is just as good as fresh food, even sometimes even
Yes.
better.
I heard.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it's not sitting in the stores and losing its
Right.
nutritional value. So pick up things like frozen corn, frozen peas, carrots, all of that stuff.
Mm.
It comes in handy. You can throw it on a stove top, microwave, air fryer, any of those. Boom, you have it ready in 5 minutes. You have it with your meat that's already prepared. You have a
Right.
quick meal without even having to stand in the kitchen for so long. Okay.
Mm.
Use your kitchen equipment. I love my air fryer. I use it. People are
Right.
like, is it healthy or not? The question I ask them is your pot healthy or not? Or microwave? All those things, everything we use have a form of chemical. Your pots are made out of
Yes.
aluminum, they're made out of iron. We
Right.
absorb all of
Right.
that. So there's gonna be certain level of absorption going on from somewhere. So air fryer is equally good. It cooks really quickly. Utilize all those kitchen gadgets. Everything doesn't have to be made out of scratch. If you can put some things in the blender and make it in 2 seconds, do that, right?
Do
If you
it
can,
real quick. Yep.
yeah, if you can do a one pot thing all in your crock pot, do it. Okay.
Yeah,
We don't need to
that's
sit
true.
there.
That's true.
Yeah.
Make it easier. I don't know
Hmm.
if Black Royalty or Redirect Focus are still on. There was a meal planning company that
Okay.
we've ordered from, and their food was so good. His portions were small, but his food, I mean, I say small, but it was probably appropriate, right?
Yes.
But I was like licking the plate, and it
Okay.
wasn't too expensive, and
Okay.
it was really tasty. Okay, we have someone that says, "What are your thoughts on supplements?
Mm.
Um, Ashwagandha, turmeric, cinnamon, garlic, multivitamins, etc."
So one big thing I always want to put out there, they're not FDA regulated. That's the big one. So because
Mm,
supplements are not FDA regulated, you're kind of on your own, right? And most times, some of them are not based on the best quality science. So I'm not a huge, I don't push supplements. Most
okay.
dietitians probably wouldn't too. What we push, I'm always about food first. If you eat a well balanced meal, you sure will get all your nutrition because think about it. Those supplements, what would they tell you? Oh, made from real veggie, this or that. So just eat your veggies, eat your fruits, eat your whole grains. You're gonna get all of that. Now, there's some people that may be truly deficient. So what I usually recommend is before you go having a thing of your own pharmacy at home, okay, seek your doctor's
Yes.
approval first by getting
Yes.
labs done. So you get your labs, they can tell you if you're truly deficient in certain things, and then we can have supplement for those specific deficiencies
Things.
versus buying all these 50,000 things. Now, I used to work in renal. I've seen people that had renal
Um,
failure because of things, supplementations like this. And
oh
they
wow.
put, yeah, because again, most of them are not FDA regulated. People are getting stuff, and the potency may be too much. Remember, the kidneys and liver are all involved in
Mhm.
breaking down these things. So people are ending up with acute renal failure because they bought, things of that nature. So
They're overworking
always,
the kid because they're
there you
taking
go.
all these
Yes.
supplements to try to
50,000.
because and without even any blood work,
Yes.
without your doctor saying you're deficient in this. We
Yes.
think like for I would say for women of color, right? The
Mm-hmm.
biggest thing they say is vitamin D. We should
Mm-hmm.
be mindful of vitamin D, but I'm like, how much vitamin D should we have?
Exactly.
Because they say even in the sun, even in the summer, we're still highly deficient. So
Mhm.
I am like, okay, I need to go to my doctor to see
Yes,
kind of like what my levels are
yes,
so that I'm not just popping 2,000 milligrams and then I'm
exactly.
overworking my organs.
Yes, and you can get vitamin D toxicity actually, because it's a
Um,
fat vitamin, so we don't want that. So yes, bottom line, see your doctor first, get your lab work done. And so on that note, I'm a huge proponent. Not knowing is not living.
Yeah.
We got to know. So go get your labs done. With that, you can see whether you're B12 deficient, all of that. And then, yes,
Mhm.
we can specifically supplement for those nutrients. But all those crazy things in the market now that tells you they do this, do that, be very mindful, be very area about those. Eat your balanced nutrition. But there were some other things mentioned there, like turmeric, ginger, garlic. Those are food. Those are
Yeah,
spices,
those are,
herbs.
yeah.
Yeah, incorporate them. They're actually good, great antioxidants. So rather than take them in pills, I would say add them to your cooking. Add some garlic to your
Mhm.
cooking. Add some turmeric to your cooking. Add some cinnamon to your oatmeal, or if you're making
Mhm.
pancakes for the family and stuff, add them. Do them in teas. You can get like a cinnamon stick, boil them as tea.
True.
Yeah, so have them the natural way than the synthetic way of supplement and stuff.
That's pretty cool. Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that because vitamins is huge. I mean, that's a whole vitamin shop. And
Oh yeah,
like you said, it's not even
it's a
FDA
billion dollar
approved.
industry. Billion
Yeah.
dollar. There's a study that was done. Yeah, billion dollar industry. And then they are great because they get all these TikTok and social media
Yeah.
influencers to tell you, oh, this, that. And some of them probably never even used it, or
Right.
they may
Right.
use it. I don't know. But they they pay them so much money to promote it. And then you look at it, oh, she used it, I should use it.
I should
But
use. Yep.
again, let's not forget there's something you mentioned where you have women of color, you have the Latino, you have the
Mhm.
Arabs. All of us come from different places, and we all have different genetic makeup. So
Right.
what's working for one culture may not
May
work for
not.
you. So don't just run because this person said they did this and it worked for them, and you think it's gonna work for you. No, it may not work that way. Okay.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Definitely, seek out a registered dietitian. Seek out your primary care
Mhm.
physician, your PCP. We've talked about that. We're going to talk more about having a PCP who you feel comfortable with and would listen to. But last thoughts, we only have about 2 minutes. If someone wanted to see a registered dietitian, does insurance cover that, or is that private pay?
Mhm.
What does that look like?
Yeah, so I saw a question. No, I think somebody thought that somebody mentioned earlier about insurance and coverage.
Yes.
They're right. And when we talked about the blood pressure cuff and stuff, yes. So on that note, I wanted to bring that up with nutrition. So for the most part, most insurance plans will cover dietitians at 100%. Most people don't
Okay.
know, but again, yes, it is plan by plan. So whatever plan you have, whatever
Yes.
company you have, whatever your company buys for its employees will determine what kind of coverage you're going to have. Okay. So
Absolutely.
it's best to always call the number on the back of your insurance card.
Yes.
Everybody should know what you're covered for. There's so many things that we get with that insurance that we don't even know about.
We talked
Okay.
about this. We had a live on this.
Okay, there
Yes.
you go.
Yes. We
So
had a
yeah,
live on this. Yes. Yes.
I would
Yes.
tell
Yes.
everybody meet with your HR people or call
Yes.
the concierge with your insurance company. Tell them to
Yes.
tell you everything you get covered. But
Yep.
yes, to answer your question, a lot of times nutrition services are covered at 100%, no cost to you. A lot of insurance will actually give it to you unlimited, so that means you can see the dietitian however many times you want in a calendar
Wow.
year. Some may have restriction. They may tell you you get 6 visits a year.
Right.
Medicare, people are the ones with the most restriction. They get only about 12 units a year,
Yeah.
so maybe about 3 visits a whole year. So you see them every quarter. But yes, it's just a
Insurance
matter
does
of seeing.
cover it.
Yes,
That's awesome. That is
yes.
so awesome.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I'm gonna put that because look, thank you so much for just joining us. Thank you for sharing your tips with us. We definitely will have you back
My
during the
pleasure. I would love it.
holidays because let me tell you, holidays, I feel like those calories don't count. But you're telling me, otherwise. But we definitely will have you back. Thank you so much
Awesome.
for taking the time this evening to just kind of share what you know with us, give us tips, and just kind of be here. We really, really, I really appreciate it. I
Yeah,
think
it's
I
my
told you
pleasure.
about it, and immediately you're like, yes.
Yeah, I love to talk
So
about nutrition nonstop. It's my
clearly,
passion. I love it
that's your
from
thing.
day one.
Yes, that
That's
is your
yeah.
thing. And it shows your passion shows for it, and I think that's probably what makes you great at it, and because you genuinely care. So thank you so much for joining the
Yeah.
Health Hub with Dr. T. I hope you've enjoyed this experience.
Yes.
It's definitely been great having you here. We will
Yes.
have you back
Oh
during
yeah,
the
anytime.
holidays
I'll
to
be
tell us
back.
how to do the holidays right while eating all the great things.
Yes,
Any
absolutely. My
last words?
pleasure.
Yes. Any last words from anyone in the audience? Any last questions? We have like 1 minute. But thank you all so much for joining. I mean, I love these conversations because it's making me also look back and see what I need to do personally. Practice what you preach in a way.
Yes,
So thank you all
absolutely.
so much. We will see you next week, next Monday at 8:30. And we're going to talk a little bit about back to school. And there's a lot that we have coming up because next week or next month is August. So we're literally going back to school, getting back into our old routine and so forth. So thank you all so much for joining. I hope you have a blessed rest of your week. Thank you, Dr. Jane, for being with
Thank
us.
you for inviting me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it
Good.
truly.
Good,
Yeah.
good, good. I'm glad. And we will see you all next Monday at 8:30 p.m. I'm gonna post my shirt. I know I don't think you guys can see it. I'm gonna take a picture and post my shirt because my top is really cute and it's from a local person around here. So I'm gonna post it. Thank you all. Have a good rest of your week. Thank you, Jane.
Bye, y'all. Thank you guys for having me, okay?
Bye.
Bye.